go. Alrighty. Well, we're back for another wine tasting on Wednesday.
It's been a long week.
Yeah, considering we had staff party on Monday, we had Tuesday, which is Tuesday, and finally we've got wine tasting on Wednesday. So, again, we're going to be looking at quality. Now, if you followed the last one that we did last week, we talked about how to define quality in Chardonnay. We're looking at quality in Shiraz now. This is a great varietal that we all know very well. We all have drunk a fair bit of over time. And we are going to be putting Pat's writing skills to the test. Well, I probably won't get you to do the writing, but I will get you to make notes. Okay? And we are going to be looking at 3 wines today, and the 3 wines are all from different quality levels. So whilst they're all well made, they should all be pretty spot on. They are at different price points, which kind of defines the quality levels that we're talking about. They all come from a classic region in Australia, and Shiraz being Shiraz. Well, name the classic regions of Shiraz in Australia there, Pat.
Barossa, McLaren Vale.
Yep. You've pretty much nailed it with those 2. That's it. It's really in a global scheme of wine in Australia. The classic regions are Barossa and McLaren Vale. They do a lot of really good Shiraz coming out of Coonawarra. If you like a different style, you'll actually really like some stuff out of Margaret River and Great Southern. If you enjoy a lighter, more aromatic style, you're going to be looking at something like Victoria. And in fact, one of my favourite Shiraz comes out of Northern Peninsula, and the other one comes out of Geelong. So, it's also, Missoni, their stuff as well. But classically, in Australia, Barossa and McLaren Vale. So, in the world of wine, where else is Shiraz known?
We got like Shiraz.
Which is
France.
Where in France?
I always get the 2 confused. Burgundy?
No, Burgundy's Pinot Noir and Chardonnay.
Bordeaux
is Cabernet Merlot and Cab Franc. It's the Rhone region.
Rhone, yeah.
Yep, so the northern Rhone region particularly. Yeah. So, you've got all the northern Rhone region, Hermitage, places like that, north of that. So that's the Rhone region. It's also classically coming out of, surprisingly, other places like, and Jen's back.
Hi.
Jen's back.
She's back.
Thank you.
So out of California, Cali will do it. They're quite nice Shiraz coming out of there. New Zealand actually is not known for it, but there is some good stuff coming out of the Gimlet Gravels and Waiheke.
Is that more northern?
Yes, more northern area of New Zealand. And surprisingly, out of some of the regions in
South Africa?
Well, South Africa does it, particularly in Pretoria, not Stellenbosch, but also over in Chile and Argentina does it as well. So why is Shiraz so grown all around the world?
Because it will.
Yeah.
Well done, you've just nailed it. In fact, that's a 100-point answer for you.
Excellent.
Literally, it is because it's easy to grow, it crops really well, and takes a range of different temperatures. It doesn't do particularly well in really cold climates, but anything that's cool all the way up to tropical, it'll just grow, and it grows really, really well. It's quite resistant against a lot of things. Also, the winemaking, generally, it takes winemaking really well. When I say winemaking, I'm talking about things like oak. It takes, malo obviously really well. It can be made reductively or oxidatively. Depending on what you want to do. You can actually make different styles of it. It can be sweetened to make a Ripasso style almost.
So it's probably the most versatile.
It's a really versatile grape, and it's if you look at the ones.
Shiraz Rosé?
Shiraz Rosé, white Shiraz.
That I haven't tried.
Yeah, I have. We have tried it previously. The Bortley did one.
Is that just where they take the skins off?
Yep, they just take the skins off because it's clear juice when it comes out.
Yeah,
it's not red juice, and so they just pull that off. It's really interesting to taste. It's quite nice. In fact, I reckon. Between you and me, I reckon it's probably what was one of the flavour profiles in Field Blend that we had the other day.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
So again, these it's a really good one. So to define it, classically though, where it's found is Northern Rhone, and Barossa, McLaren Vale are in Australia, probably the other major exponents for it. There is some coming out of South Africa, which whilst is known for the quality coming out of, it's not internationally known for the quality that's coming out of there.
Because the chocolate block, I had the other
Yep.
day. Yeah, that was really nice. But that's a blend, isn't it?
That's a blend of Grenache, Shiraz, Cabernet, Cab Franc.
Oh, so it's
Yeah. But it's really chocolatey. It's
Yeah.
lovely. Yeah. So now we're going to look at. We've got 3 glasses in front of us. Each one has a different level of wine, and so we're going to have a look at each glass and walk our way through it. For the people at home that have bought it, I will quickly tell you. Actually, I won't tell you because I'm trying to keep it from Pat. So
You know what they are.
you'll know what they are. We'll start tasting it here and we'll see if we can work it out together. So we'll start with this. So again, what was the first rule that I said when you're starting to evaluate wine in a lineup like this?
Colour.
So what do you do for all 3 of them though?
So look at all
You
3.
do all 3.
Oh, yeah. So you do a comparison.
So look at all 3. So literally looking at all 3, they look almost exactly the same. A little bit more purple in.
I reckon the first one's got a bit more purple.
Yeah, the first one's probably a bit more purple, but not much. So even in your, literally for your 3 notes down there,
Yeah, so
you can pretty much put exactly the same thing.
yeah. So is there much of a variance? So like with red wine, like
No.
you get like some that are
Most are ruby.
Yeah.
Some get garnet, which is a deeper colour of ruby. You get purple, which is sort of the other side of ruby. So you got sort of purple, ruby, and then garnet.
yeah.
You can go from violet to mahogany and on. So
Is
that's
that
usually,
more
that's usually when you get
aged?
to fortified and
Yeah.
aged for characters.
Okay, so all purple.
So yeah, so pretty much they've got. You could pretty much say they're all clear, or clean.
Yeah.
So they're all clear. Clear. I would say.
Oh, so it's clear first.
Yeah, clear first. I would say medium intense, medium, and ruby for all of them. So yeah.
Purple or ruby?
Well, they do have hints of purple in there. You could say that
yeah, this one's probably more ruby.
yeah, I'd probably go ruby. And in fact, most red wine is generally going to be more ruby. I haven't had Jen's pizza now for 3 weeks. I have missed Jen's pizza. Yummy. Right, yeah. So, next one, CIA, which is what?
Well, it's aroma, so it'd be cheers. That one's intensity. That one's. What is
If that is clear,
it? Yeah.
that one is clean.
Oh, okay.
So therefore, you're not getting any funky notes on it.
Yeah. Then intensity.
So intensity and aroma.
Aroma.
So aromatics. So Dan, what are you grading in this one?
A lot of those for me.
Really? Okay, I'm getting quite a bit. Give it a bit of a swirl.
Yeah.
If you need to array your glasses, just literally doing that will help. What actually happens is the aromatics inside the wine will begin to react. They microoxidize slightly and they also become a bit more volatile and they come out of the wine, so you actually get a nose. So I'm getting lots of dark chocolate, black plums.
Yeah, I get plums a lot.
I get some cedar notes. That's obviously from some oak in there as well.
You get the cedar. I'm not getting. You get a lot of fruit at all.
Oh really? Okay. Yeah, I'm getting lots of dark fruits, lots of dark, sort of heavier notes.
Yeah, like blackberries. Mulberry.
Not quite. Yeah, more mulberry than blackberry.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's smooth.
Very smooth tannin. Okay, so we'll just walk our way through it.
So clean.
So clean. Yep.
So that's just kind of like a binary, like
Yep.
clean or not.
Clean or not. So yeah, clean. And intensity,
Probably say
I'd say medium plus.
medium plus. Yeah, at least.
Medium plus intensity. And what are the aromatics that we're getting? We just noted them off, so you can write down, say, black plum, mulberry, cedar. So you've got three different notes there, just on the thing. I also get dark chocolate as well.
Oh, yeah.
So,
My nose is broken.
have you got COVID?
What? I get that like the dark chocolate and raspberries.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, dark chocolate and raspberries. Some people might have a black cherry note in there or something. But yeah. So now SATABFFF
So
BLICQ. There's 3 F's, not 2.
oh, there is 3 F's.
So S being what?
Sweet and savoury.
Correct. Sweetness.
Oh, sweetness. Yeah.
So is it sweet?
Well, it's a.
Yeah. So there's levels of sweetness. The sweetness is.
So this would be like a dry.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah.
Dry, off dry, semi-sweet, sweet, luscious. I think it is. So that's dry.
Yeah.
There's no residual sugar in that, and that's obvious. There's no residual sugar. Next up is A for acidity.
Oh yeah, acidity. Yeah.
I'd say a medium acidity.
Yeah.
You can also give descriptors for acidity as well. You can have prickling, you can have, because you get some prickling acidity,
yeah,
or
you
you
get
can
some
have
smooth
searing
acidity,
acidity or rasping acidity. In fact, Sauv Blanc is renowned for rasping acidity.
Yeah.
But in this case,
With a red,
acidity.
you wouldn't really get like prickly.
Yeah, you do, absolutely. Yeah, you will get acidity, and you'll be able to identify those. There's a range of different acidities, but in this one, you probably don't need to chase it too hard. But in whites particularly, I do generally search, because that's really the only defining drying character in the wine will be acidity, unless you've got oak in there. But because you have no tannin in white, so you're looking for acidity to give more of a descriptor of what the wine's going to be. So in reds, however, the descriptor doesn't quite follow through.
It does make your mouth water a little.
Yeah.
So it's
But it's
medium.
not over the top. Yeah.
So your cheeks are watering, but they're not salivating like a native wine.
Yeah.
Next is tea, which is almost exclusive for red wine. So tannins.
Yep.
All right. So, and again, you get descriptors for tannins.
Medium plus or
Yeah, I'd say medium.
medium.
Yeah, medium tannins. And I think when you're looking at this, are they drying tannins? Are they gripping tannins? Are they tight tannins? Are they smooth tannins? Are they rounded tannins? Are they silky tannins? I'd probably go smooth tannin myself.
Yeah.
Yep, that's just my personal opinion. You're allowed to disagree.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's just like. It's not drying. I don't know. Yeah. A little bit drippy, I think, but.
No, I would say it's definitely smooth tannins. There's nothing really grabbing on your palate, which is really good.
It's a light smooth tannin.
Yeah.
For me,
Next is the next A, alcohol.
Oh yeah.
So is it medium alcohol, medium plus alcohol, or high?
medium, I reckon.
Yeah, medium. Yeah.
I reckon medium plus.
Really?
13.5 to 14%. 14.5 and above is usually high.
It doesn't seem that like warming though. Like.
It's not warming because it can be in balance.
Oh, okay.
You can actually have some stuff. So, but I would say
Medium plus.
I'd say a medium plus alcohol, and that's generally a fairly safe bet for most red wine in Australia. Most New World wine actually generally is going to be that kind of thing. Right, yeah. Next is the body, or B.
Yep.
So, what do you think of the body?
Kind of light.
Yeah.
Light medium.
There's not a lot of weight to it.
No, so medium minus body. Yep. Okay, now we're looking at the flavour intensity, the first F. So how intense are the flavours?
Overly for me.
Yeah.
I'd say they're medium at least.
You reckon?
Yeah, I reckon they're pretty good. They're not light.
Could be
Um,
alright. Gushy, I think.
It does that option too. At least medium, maybe medium plus, because there is some intensity there of flavour. It depends on what you want to say. I go medium myself.
Yeah, I'll probably go medium.
More
Yeah.
oaky, the oak character.
Yep.
It's more.
And remember that we're talking about intensity for the wine,
Yeah.
in that the flavours in there, and that's where you note the flavours. And honestly,
Oh, so you know the flavours under the first F?
yeah, under the second F.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So the thing is though, that F there is almost guaranteed to be dead set the same as that.
Yeah.
It's very unusual if it's not. So under your aromas, you've probably got most of your flavours written down anyway.
Yeah.
Literally transpose that over there in an exam situation anyway.
Yeah.
If you have time to sit down and ruminate on them, I would probably look at in this one. I probably get more dark cherries in this one. I do get my slightly mocha, so more coffee chocolate than it is bitter chocolate, which is what I had on the nose. I have some fruit weight coming out of. I get some sort of secondary notes out of cedar. So you need to also remember to note which is your primary, secondary, and your tertiary.
Oh,
So
yeah.
your primary is going to be your.
Oh, so cedar would go back onto...
Cedar is secondary.
Yeah, secondary.
Yep.
So
Yep. So when you're writing, you can do your notes that way.
yeah,
but when
yeah.
it comes
When
to
you're
writing,
actually writing,
you need to say
yeah.
primary notes of
Yeah.
red fruits in dark black fruits in black cherries, and then mocha being another secondary note that comes in the back. Cool. And finish. Now, how long is the finish?
Short.
Mm,
You reckon it's got like...
no, I'll go with that. Yeah, I'd say it finishes. It's got some persistence in there, but no, it does finish fairly short. Fairly short, but it's got a few different flavours in there. So finish short, but some complexity there. Because I'm getting a few different flavours turning up the back for me. Oh, mainly of cherry and bitter chocolate and mocha. Sorry. Okay.
The tannin lingers for quite a while.
It does, yeah, and that is actually part of it. That tannin, I'm actually picking up my mocha notes in there, so I'm getting my coffee chocolate notes in that one. So short might be a little bit of we might be being it hard, but you know, this is how we're tasting now.
Yeah.
Right. As you are tasting the wine now, that's what you're going to write your notes on. I've literally had a wine that was just so tight and austere in an exam that I went, I don't think this is particularly good because it was so tight and austere. And then I came back to it after doing my other tastings, came back to it, it opened up, and it was quite glorious. But by that time, it was too late.
Yeah.
You don't have time in an exam to go back and rewrite all your notes. So literally, I put a line underneath mine saying, however this wine has evolved, literally I'd done all my thing, I had the page done, and I went, however, on retasting this wine an hour later, it has evolved and flavours have come out showing this wine is of and I actually kind of changed my answer, but couldn't change it.
Officially change it.
I couldn't officially change the first part, but literally at the when they marked it, they're like, oh, you're not seeing any of the great flavour compounds we expect to see. And they got to the end and they went, oh, okay, so obviously the wine had been poured straight crack pour, and it hadn't had time to breathe properly, and therefore it evolved and came out. So whilst I gave it this is a good wine, but due to the evolution that happened in the glass, I would actually rate this a very good wine, and I had to just rewrite a bit of a note. So you can sort of not hedge your bet, but go back and fix the problems in that case, and that does happen quite a lot. So don't change your mind. Whatever you wrote there is whatever you saw
when you first had it.
when you had it. But if it does evolve in the glass at the end of that time, you go, oh my god, I've made such an error in my evaluation.
Do you get extra credits for that because it's...
You don't get extra credit, but they will actually give you more latitude. So they'll go, oh no, he didn't see the oak, he didn't see the lovely peach notes, he didn't see the da-da-da. And then it comes down to the bottom, they go, oh, hold on, he's got here. On evolution of this wine, the peach notes became prevalent. The oak suddenly became sweetened and full. The palate finish was a lot longer than it was on the initial tasting. Okay, they won't give you full marks for it, but they'll go, yeah, you've seen it now. Okay. Obviously, they'll give you a bit of latitude.
But that seems like it's more on the course persons for not decanting or.
Well, it's not really up to them. If you get a bottle of wine, you get it cracked and poured in front of you, you have to be able to dig through that wine. And your notes, remember, you only got 10 minutes to do these notes.
Yeah.
And you go, write them all down, and then you come back to it and you go, oh my god, I've made an error. You might have said tight, austere, high acidity, low oak, or whatever, or the tannins, no real oak tannins to it, And then you come back and you realise the wine hasn't evolved. You need to give yourself an opportunity to change your not hedge your bets, but change your bet. So you're literally going, oh my god, I have so stuffed this up. This is actually a village's Chardonnay, or a village Premier Cru wine from France, which is good. Like it's just off exceptional. You can hedge the bet, and it all depends on the market. But if they've seen that you've actually answered that question post writing those notes, everyone understands you are under time pressure. They will give you more latitude, which I think is really handy. Okay, so what do you reckon about the balance? And now, by the way, you don't bother looking at any more tasting. Don't touch your glass anymore. You're using this, with all you've written, the balance.
Well, it's all like within a plus or a minus of each other.
Yep. So there is some balance there.
Yeah. So what's the kind of score frame? You'd be like,
what are the dry notes? Acidity and tannin. So what do you say for the acidity?
Medium.
Mm-hmm.
And then tannin, smooth, medium.
Mm-hmm. 2 mediums?
Yeah.
What about the fruit intensity?
Medium. And then I've got...
And the alcohol?
Alcohol is medium plus.
So it'd be slightly out of balance there because of the higher alcohol.
Higher alcohol. Yeah.
Yep. But it's not terrible.
Yeah.
So therefore you can say the balance between the fruit and alcohol versus the tannin and acidity is slightly off, but does not make the wine seem unbalanced. The next part could be the primary notes versus secondary notes. Are the oak notes overpowering the wine, or do the balance of fruit, the primary fruit and the secondary notes balance off quite nicely? And I reckon they do. So the primary notes of the grape versus secondary notes of the winemaking show lovely integration between the two. We talk about a wine that's integrated, and that's the place where you talk about it. So again, if you're looking for point scores as such in the balance, you'd probably give that 2 to 3 points. Probably 2 points, I reckon. Out of 4. Yep. Okay, so next up you've got length.
Length, yeah.
Now, I think we were being a bit hard, but it's what we saw.
Yeah.
So a short finish with some complexity gives it some interesting notes. The tannin does linger. And I also found that the mocha notes began to linger, but were not very intense about it. So therefore you can probably say something like, whilst the short from the primary note finish, the secondary notes do linger for a while, especially the tannin and some bitter chocolates or some mocha notes that are pleasing, but do not show to be of an exceptional level. Intensity wise, no, you can't touch your glass, mate. I can, you can't. Oh, Dan, cheers. Yeah, lovely.
So intensity, so you just refer back to this like medium plus.
Yep.
Like,
So you got medium plus there, and for your flavour intensity, medium.
Yeah.
So the intensity is medium, so it looks balanced, but it's not so intense it's going to make you jump out of the glass.
Yeah.
So, good medium intensity.
Balance
gives a lovely flavour profile, but doesn't push the wine.
It's actually a lot nicer after the food.
Yeah.
I'm finding.
Yep. And then finally, complexity. Whilst the wine is not overly complex, it does show a range of different flavours. And you start talking about your spectrums of flavours that you have. For example, your dark stone fruit and cherry, dark berry notes in there, and your mocha notes. So again, you talk about complexity now, and so where would you rate that wine? So I think it's above acceptable myself.
Oh yeah.
And you can have a look and see. So you can literally work the point out. So is it get a point for balanced? Probably half a point for balance.
Yeah.
Length, well, not really. Intensity.
Even with the tertiary notes, or?
Oh, even with the tertiary, the secondary notes, not tertiary notes. No real tertiary notes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
The intensity, well, it's a good, nice intensity, but it's got some complexity. So it puts it from, acceptable up to good. Might even push it into the low end of very good.
Yeah.
But I would say that's it's a good wine.
Yeah.
A good, if not a very good wine. So.
Oh, is that under quality?
That's under quality.
Yeah, so with complexity.
Complexity.
Yeah,
so complexity, it does show, whilst not overly complex, it does show, barley wine helps in this one, it does show some complex notes, especially in the primary and secondary notes, and then you note what areas they are listed in here, or into your flavour profile. That took us essentially 25 minutes to talk about.
One wine?
Yeah, one wine. You got the other half. You could get that down in 5 minutes. Basically, you do the tasting and it's done in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's 5 minutes worth of solid writing. Quality-wise, I would actually give this a good to a very good. So it's always on that cusp. Maybe you want to give yourself. Maybe you want to put your quality level, because we're talking about quality.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to see where it is in relation to the next two as well. But you have to be able to back it up from here.
Yeah. So your subs be able to show you working kind of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like maths where you show you working.
Yeah.
Right, let's have a look at the second wine. So CIC again, it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
CIA. Well, in comparison to the last one, this does actually have, remember it said more time to evolve in the glass too. It's clean. Probably medium to medium minus. I'm not sure. Where are you going with that, Dan?
Yeah, a little bit of
yeah, it's intensity of it. What's the intensity?
Yeah, medium. I wouldn't go any higher.
I wouldn't go any higher. I'd actually go on the low end of medium on that one. What about you, Pat? You're the one that's doing the writing for it.
Under intensity.
Yeah.
Actually, got a fair bit of intensity out of that.
Okay. Okay. Yep. So you can put medium plus intensity or high intensity even, but I think high is probably going a bit far.
It's not high, but it's definitely more than the last one.
Okay.
So
remember there is a spectrum in that too. So medium plus maybe. That's fine.
That's it.
All right. So what are you getting? What notes? I'll actually let Pat talk about this one because I'm a bit okay.
I definitely get dark cherries out of this one.
Mhm.
It's like overripe plum.
You can't read that message from here.
A little bit of chocolate.
I actually got, when I first stuck my nose in there, I got a little bit of, not licorice, but jello.
Aniseed.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to say the last one I had more flavours coming out of because there seemed to be a better use of oak, and there also was a lot more of the darker fruits and a spectrum of darker fruits. This one, I think it's good, but I think it's quite simple with the fruits. Like there's not. Do you get much oak character note? Any secondary winemaking notes? Because
not really.
Not really for me.
No.
You get a little bit of. I suppose if I was going to stretch this wine out, I would go a little bit of olive tapenade, a little bit of Well, you're going that licorice note. I'm probably going olive tapenade, which is similar. That's yours, that one there.
Oh.
I find it a lot simpler than the last one, but
Yeah.
that's me. So therefore, I'd go.
Medium minus or?
Well, hold on. You've got CIC and CIA. Yeah, CIC is done. We've already done that, so it's clean, medium.
Oh,
ruby.
right. Oh, it's, yeah.
So the next one is so clear, medium, ruby, and then it's clean. I'd say you've said medium plus intensity for the notes. I'm really only getting.
Give it the plus.
Yeah. Oh, I'm only giving it I'm giving it quite simple. So when I say simple, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means it doesn't have lots of different flavors. You can have a really good simple wine. There's nothing wrong with that. So with the aromas though, I'm really only getting at a stretch on the Cabernet, but dark berries. That's about it for me. You know, sort of that mulberry.
So that'd be like a medium minus to.
No, the medium intensity. You still have intensity. You can be quite intense, but it can be simple flavour.
Oh no, what about aroma?
This is for aroma.
Yeah.
So medium plus intensity of the aromas, but the aromas are what you can smell. And can you smell the licorice that Dan's talking about, or can you smell old tapenade, or can you smell cedar notes, or can you smell berry notes? What is it you're getting off this? This is probably the big part.
I don't get the cedar.
No.
I don't know what olive tapenade is.
Okay.
3 olive dip.
Aniseed. Yeah, aniseed, but I don't. It's not really intense. Like.
No.
Yeah.
So you can say. So what is it? There is a very strong, intense flavour in there. What is it? What is it that you're smelling?
I don't find it intense at all.
Well, Pat, this is for Pat. He's actually said medium plus intensity.
Oh,
So
so
now that he's gone down that road, he needs to really nail down what it is. And I do, in comparison to the last one, I do think this one does have more intensity on the nose.
You reckon?
Yeah, on the nose.
It's almost like that kind of Christmas cake kind of fruit cake kind of thing.
So cinnamon, nutmeg.
Yeah, not so much the spices, but like I think the berries or something.
Okay, so say a berry compote.
Yeah.
Say blackberry or blueberry compote.
Yeah.
So write that down. Say simple notes of blueberry compote. Even I think a compote is actually an amalgam of flavour.
What is?
Compote's actually when you get like blackberries and you begin to put them into a pan and cook them, and they begin to get this. Usually you add sugar and things as well. You can add other spices into it, but what it does is it actually melts down and intensifies the flavours.
And then what do you do with it?
Generally, you put it over like dessert. That's what those
Oh, okay.
compotes are. The juice comes out of it. The juice gets cooked, which means the sugars begin to get a little bit of those caramel notes to it, and then juviness turns up. And then you put that onto a dessert. It gives usually a fairly high acidity balance. It's really, really good with chocolate cake. So if you get a really intense chocolate brownie or chocolate cake, something that's going to be really rich, you can add a bit of cream to it to try and cut it, but you also add compote to give it acidity. And that's what actually compote is. So, yeah, I'd go with that. That's probably as good a call as you're going to get. So sweetness.
Dry.
Yep, it is dry. Acidity. How watering are your cheeks right now?
Not really.
Medium minus, your choice. Probably medium minus, yep, okay, good call. Is it prickling acidity?
It's like a. I wouldn't say prickling or raspy or.
No, okay.
Yeah,
just leave it if you're not sure.
Yeah.
So tannins.
Smooth. Low.
Yep.
Yeah, low.
I'd say medium.
Yeah.
Medium minus, maybe medium minus. Medium minus tannins. I think there are more.
There's less tannin in this than the first one.
True. Yeah, so medium minus tannins. I think the last one had medium plus tannins in it. I don't know. Smooth, medium smooth tannins. Yeah, it's medium minus smooth.
Yeah.
Alcohol.
I get a little bit of warming one from this, but
So medium plus then.
yeah.
Body.
Medium.
Yeah,
Yeah, medium.
Medium body.
But it's like, I think it's a bit unbalanced. Like, it's not like a.
Yep. Well, just remember to put that down to your conclusion there. So your body, medium. Okay, medium body. Next up, flavour intensity. I will go medium plus.
Yeah, it's definitely got some intensity
Yeah.
flavour, right?
It's got good intensity of flavour. The flavours that are in it though are simple flavours. And as I said, there's nothing wrong with having simple flavours. Everyone gets hung up on a lot of things that occur with wines where you go, oh, I want to have 50 different flavours into my wine. But that's like also saying I love oak on my wine. You can love it, but it may not necessarily be the best wine ever.
Yeah.
So I find simple is good. That's a good simple flavour. Simple flavours here. Finish.
Finish.
I actually think the finish longer or shorter than the last one.
It feels shorter, but
Yeah, I go shorter.
yeah.
So therefore, I'd say short finish.
Short finish and no lasting.
Short finish. Short and simple finish. I'm getting some length in there.
There's a little
We
bit.
are getting soft, yeah.
There's not really much to it.
So again, what will actually happen is, if it doesn't have great intensity to begin with, and you do get, because high intensity wines don't necessarily finish well. Like Primitivo is a really good example of that. You'll have massive fruit up front,
But then it just drops.
and it just dissipates quickly. You might have some residual sort of lingering flavour on there, but it's not developed by the wine. It's literally your taste buds have just reacted, and might be a little bit of wine left in the mouth.
Yeah.
So what I find is that it's a good indication of a particularly good quality wine for a style will be a lingering primary or secondary note, preferably two of them together. That way to give some. Yeah. So you can have simple flavours, but there's some but you want something to last. In this particular case, I can't deny, I think the fruit in that is lovely.
Yeah.
I really do think that's a lovely drinking wine, but I don't think it's a particularly complex wine, and I don't think it's got a particularly great length to it. So short, simple finish, that's fine.
You got to say what notes you're getting on the finish.
I usually do.
Yeah.
I usually give that just to sort of play back to the fact that it's
Yeah.
got simple notes of this, and it does show. I mean, a good quality wine can show simple characters, but it won't push it to exceptional.
I can't really get money to taste off the finish.
No, that's fine. Let's just leave that. So short and simple finish of, and pick your note that you had. Blueberry compote. Yep. So now balance. What do you think the balance goes on this?
Yeah, it's a bit all over the place.
So therefore, walk me through
So
literally your dries versus your sweets.
so
Dries being acidic,
yeah,
acidity, and tannin.
dry.
No, forget that one. So your dries being
Uh,
acid and tannin.
Okay, so medium minus,
that's
but
good.
smooth tannin,
Yeah, that's good.
and then acidity
And then alcohol
and
flavour intensity.
is medium plus.
So
medium
therefore, medium minus to medium plus is an unbalanced
Yeah.
wine. So therefore, you'd say this is not a well balanced wine. The intensity of the fruit and the alcohol are not matched by the intensity of the acidity and the tannin structure. And that nails it. That's the perfect answer for an unbalanced
Wait, what
wine.
was that again? Sorry. So tannin.
So the intensity of the acidity and the tannins do not match the intensity of the alcohol and the flavour intensity of the wine.
Alcohol and tannin.
So there you go. And you know this, and with no primary, secondary or tertiary notes in there to talk about internal balance, there's no point talking about it. Just go to the next one.
Oh.
So next is length.
Yep.
Well, you've already said
Yep.
it's short.
Short and simple.
Yeah, length is short and simple. Next up, intensity. Well, you said the intensity is medium plus.
Yeah.
Whilst showing good intensity, the intensity shown was of simple flavours.
Yeah.
And complexity literally balances that last part out with, I don't find this wine overly complex. So, we've gone from, we're in acceptable now, because it's not faulty.
Yeah.
It's not poor, and it's not faulty. So, acceptable at the moment.
Yeah.
Is anything push it up in that blick? Anything at all?
Not
Nope.
low.
Well, in that case,
Yeah.
it's the quality level of this is acceptable. And you can even, if you wanted to, if you had to spend some, due to the balance, length, intensity, and complexity, I find this wine to be acceptable.
Yeah.
Done. By the way, I actually quite enjoy the wine. Yeah, the wine itself. So if you're not dissecting wine, if you're not sitting in a room going, oh, I need to do this for an exam, that's an eminently drinkable wine. I don't have a problem with that at all.
It's a good bottle.
It's a good quaffing wine. Yeah, I'm quite impressed. I wouldn't pay more than $20 for that at all. Though. I would, in fact, if I paid $20, I'd probably be a little disappointed. Rightio. Let's go to the third one. So the third one is literally, and by the way, that was, we did that the same time. Damn it. I thought we were going to be quicker. Rightio. So we've already done the CIC, which is clear, medium intensity, medium ruby. All right. So that's all done.
You've got these letters now, Pat.
You have to, man. You cannot afford not to. Because one of the things, and I actually got pulled up in class one day, one of the guys who was teaching us, I can't remember his name. He's a Canadian bloke. He's a master of wine. He's phenomenally good. I really need, next time we have this, I'll actually pull out his name, because he is phenomenally good educator, but brutal as the day is long. If you say something that is kind of stupid, he doesn't hold back. He tells you it's kind of stupid. And in fact, I still remember my biggest memory of him is literally he goes, why, it was a simple question, it's like, how do you determine whether or not a wine, whether grappa is, why is white wine making white wine, white graped grappa different from red grape grappa? And it was such an obvious one when he said it that we almost went, oh, of course. And it was literally because white grapes, the pomace or the leftover grapes, the pomace for white wine have not been fermented. So you've basically squeezed the grapes, the juice has gone off, you make wine with it. So what you got left with is sugary grapes. So sugary grapes can't be distilled. So therefore you have to ferment them. So you ferment those to get alcohol, and then you put it through you distill it. Red grapes are pressed, or generally soft pressed, in the wine and undergo full fermentation. So there should be no residual sugar left in the grapes.
After it's done.
So therefore you don't need to ferment those grapes. So the alcohol is already in those grapes. So you just need to distill that.
That's after your red wine product is made.
Yeah. So because remember, what we literally just talked about, white wine's pressed, the juice is gone, you've got the grape skins left over, the residual sugars that are in that are then fermented and then turned into grappa, which is through a distillation process. Whereas red wine, you've got the great leftover skins from an already fermented wine, so therefore there is no sugar to ferment. It's already there, and the alcohol that's remaining is what you're distilling. And when he said that, though, but the way he said it was quite, whoa, Jesus Christ, I'm sorry I didn't know that. But he was, as I said, a great educator, not for holding your hand and leading you down the garden path, but for just saying, think about it. You know, you have the information. And that's what happens with these exams, is that when it comes to doing a WSET exam, the most important thing that you can learn is not, all the different styles of wine and all the different flavour profiles. It's actually the viticulture, how they grow the damn stuff, and what about the growth is actually affecting the wine itself. How do you get the good grapes? How is it done? What trellising are they using? Different trellising will give you different flavours and different soils and subsoils. if you understand all that, getting to the end product, it's kind of like understanding that chili, cocoa, knowing the flavours of those, then seeing how it turns up in a chimichurri or a chocolate mole. It's a sauce that is very complex. It's really hard to break apart. But if you know the basic flavours that are put into it, know the two basic flavours, then you can go, wow, I know exactly where I'm going with that. Rightio. So what do we got for clean, medium or medium plus for that one?
I gave it medium. Like, it didn't seem overly intense, but but
On the nose.
On the nose.
Yeah, I get a fair bit going on in there.
Yeah, I give that at least a medium plus, if not a high. Like, just my nose is just whoo.
See, I get more from the middle one.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. So medium plus. It's up to you. You're the one writing it. Dan, hit me with some notes. Hit me some aromas.
Definitely big black, dark plum fruit.
Mhm.
I get bitterness on this one,
Mhm.
definitely, and probably a touch of, not tobacco, but something along the lines of that.
Yeah, I got something herby in there. I couldn't like.
Well, so let's pull it apart. Take into primary notes. What fruits are we getting in there?
Plum, for me.
Plum.
I got
Very
blueberry.
good call. You're getting what, sorry?
Blueberry.
Okay, so if you think blueberry and you think plum, that's fine. You could both write those answers down. But you go primary notes of berries, and you can put blueberry. I actually get a lot of plum with that, I will say. I do get notes of like in raspberry myself. I do get some raspberry notes in there. But I actually would like to point out that I'm also getting plum. I do also pick up some blueberry notes, but for me, raspberry, blueberry, and plum. And I do get all three of those notes. And even though they're in the same box or the same category of berry, you can sort of pull them apart a bit. Okay, so I am getting. So you're getting blueberry. Are you getting any secondary notes of cedar, nutmeg?
Getting a bit of alcohol on the nose.
Yeah, you are getting quite a strong alcohol note.
Yeah, I don't get any of that. But yeah, I don't really get any cedar either.
Really? Okay. Wow. Okay, that's the one thing I am getting is lots and lots of cedar. Dried spices. What herbal note are you getting in there?
I was thinking like tomato leaf or something like that. But
Okay, yeah.
It's not. Yeah, it's not as rich as like a tobacco. or
So
something like that.
therefore your primary would be, so your primary notes would be berry, blackberry. So just write berry, and then in brackets blackberry. So put a bracket around that. Okay, then comma, herbal, and then write what you think the herbal notes are in there. I do get dried spice, and I do get, I get dried spice, particularly nutmeg. I also get some cedar notes from the oak. That's probably the major hits.
Maybe it's not tobacco, maybe it's more cigar box.
Cigar box, actually. Cigar box is a very good call, very good. So, and I even put down there, you might even put a tertiary note of cigar box. Okay. Rightio. So, then we'll try it. So, sweetness. Yeah, cigar box is awesome. Good call.
Dry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Acidity. No, medium.
Yeah, medium.
My cheeks are watering a bit more than they normally would be, but medium is definitely where I'd go with that. Tannin,
Smooth.
Yeah.
but where is it intensity-wise?
I put a medium plus.
Medium plus, good call. Yeah, I'll take that. Rightio. Next, alcohol. I got
Yeah,
high.
it seems,
It's up there.
Yeah, I got high.
I couldn't really smell it though. Like Like
Yeah.
I can taste it. Like
I have-
there's
It
that warming.
burned my nose.
Yeah.
That's why it's.
Alcohol.
So I actually would put high alcohol and I'd put the word warming after it. On the tasting though, I'm still getting it.
So it'd be warming.
Warming, and you can put medium plus if you thought it was medium plus or high if it was high.
I'll put medium.
Medium plus, good, okay. Don't be afraid of going over the top on some things as well. Because the more you differentiate the wine, the easier it is to pick out which one's more quality.
Yeah.
Okay, next up,
Body. It's actually like really like well-rounded body. Like it's
So is it light-bodied, medium-bodied, or full-bodied?
I don't feel
Can you
full
go
body.
plus or
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, you can. Well, I think I usually stick to light, medium, and full. It's the simplest one to do.
Yeah.
So I do full-bodied.
Full body.
Yep. Okay, flavour intensity.
I get quite a bit like the actual flavors on the
Yep.
tasting. So you do the. I'd go.
So you
quite
could go low, medium plus, medium.
Okay.
Sorry, low, medium minus, medium plus, or high.
Brilliant.
What's it for?
This is for the flavour
the
intensity.
flavour. Oh, medium plus.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In between that or high, like I think medium plus.
Medium plus, yeah, good. See, if you're going medium plus for that, you'd have. If you went high for that, you'd have to go high for at least one of the others, I reckon, because you got to keep that. You've got to, I'd actually say alcohol's high to begin with, but medium plus I do. But if it was a high intensity flavour of something, you need to have a high intensity flavour of tannin or to make it balanced. So keep going down. The flavours, well, basically all of those.
Yeah.
Essentially. Again, so you just literally copy those down of primary notes of blueberry, some herbal notes. What do you say? Tomato leaf.
Yeah.
With some secondary notes of cedar and nutmeg, and some tertiary notes of cigar box. You forgot one F.
Oh,
That's an F, is it?
yeah, I think so.
Okay, that's meant to be an F.
Yeah.
Okay, so the finish. Medium, short, long.
It's quite long with like.
There's a lot
Yeah.
than the others.
Yeah.
Okay, long it is. And long flavours of what? It should say long, and does it have a great deal of complexity, or is it a simple flavour to finish?
No,
Or
I
is it
guess a few
several
things in
flavors?
it. Like,
Is it some complexity or quite complex? And the simplest way to do that is this is so wrong if you're trying to do this off my palate, but I find that simple is one flavour, some complexity is 2 flavours, 2 to 3 flavours, 4 or more, very complex.
It's complex.
yeah.
It's
I think it's quite a
yeah.
complex finish myself, but it's up to you. Your
Yeah.
palate's on.
Yeah, I'll go complex.
So yeah, quite complex. Right. And if you wanted to, you could at that point nail a few of the major complexity flavours that you're getting. But it's
So I
up to
get
you.
definitely more of the tertiary note, but no, the secondary notes on
Secondary
the
notes on.
finish.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's have a look at balance. So now you can't drink your wine anymore, so you put your glass down. Cheers, then. Yes. Anyway,
You can have a beer instead.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. You want to try and remember some of the flavours, but
Yeah.
you're reading anyway. So.
Yeah.
So balance.
Balance.
Literally, look at your dry balances, your dries, acidity and tannin, versus your sweet of alcohol and flavour intensity.
So should they move these around then? Like, because if you're going to balance 2 off, like, you think it'd be better having them next to
Dude,
each other?
that's the way I remember it.
Okay,
You
yeah.
can remember it any other way you
Alright,
want.
yeah.
So, acidity medium,
Yeah.
tannin medium plus. So okay.
Yeah.
And then you've got the alcohol is medium plus.
Yep.
Okay, that sort of balances there, and it's not unbalanced.
Yeah.
But it's not perfect balance.
Yeah, it's not a perfect balance. So
So whilst, and this is what you'd literally say,
balance is good, but
whilst the wine doesn't show great balance or perfect balance, it does balance the
alcohol
internally with the primary, secondary, and tertiary notes all being flavorful together. But balance is probably out a little bit because of the alcohol. The alcohol, and that's what I'd say, is that the alcohol, the higher alcohol is unbalancing this wine. Which is why when you got a medium plus tannin and a medium plus alcohol, I would have actually whacked that up to high myself.
It'd be interesting to see what this would be like decanted.
True.
Aerate it a lot more and get some
Well,
alcohol
yeah.
out.
We will do that after we finish the stream. Okay, so that's the balance. So whilst it's not perfectly balanced, it does have some balance internally. I think the alcohol is overriding on it, so it is quite warming. So I don't think the balance is perfect. Length-wise, what do you say for length on the finish?
I said finish is good with a lot of complex.
Finish is what? Sorry.
Showing primary notes of blueberry and.
No.
Finishes long and quite
So
complex
therefore,
with secondary notes of.
When it comes to length,
Yeah.
it finishes long and has complexity.
Yeah.
Of pleasing notes, because I actually have had a wine where I've gone, my God, that just doesn't finish.
Go away,
But my God, it was just
You
hung
gotta-
around.
You got to leave the notes of what the pleasing notes are. So
I would probably do it. Yeah,
Yeah, like-
I'd probably say the pleasing notes of mocha or that kind of thing to it. Right. So yeah, it's good oak too. So the intensity. What do you say for intensity? Well, medium plus.
medium plus.
There.
Yeah. That's fruit.
Yeah, that's fruit intensity. So medium plus
Yeah.
there. And what do you say
medium
for
plus here.
medium plus there? So
Yeah.
I'd
Quite intense.
I'd give it good intensity. I'd actually say good intensity of the following notes, and just note down some of the aromas and flavours that actually are prevalent in both.
So
Finally is the complexity. Damn, you should not have got a piece of that. So. I just keep it really
complexity. So I'd say quite complex. Like
Yeah.
we're doing
I'd say
a
shows
few primaries, a few secondaries.
Yep.
Um,
good complexity, particularly of the following primary and secondary notes with some tertiary notes coming in. This wine has a great potential to age. Whilst alcohol is a bit warming, I find, well actually no, that's the conclusion, sorry, that's mine. Just stick with complexity.
Yep.
Yep.
Good complexity with.
Primary, secondary and tertiary notes all prevalent.
Thank you.
That's all tertiary.
T-E-R-T-I-A-R-Y.
Job for another day.
Job for another day.
Um,
Now, literally we're looking at quality. Now remember this whole thing is about quality. So what do you say with you? So Blick, it was not balanced due to high alcohol. So it's not really getting the point there, but it's got some flavours, but it's still not quite balanced.
Yeah.
Length,
Length is good.
so that gets the point.
Yeah.
So it goes from acceptable to good.
Yeah.
Actually, it goes from poor to acceptable.
Yeah. Balance is good. We wrote down
Does the balance the length?
intensity. Intensity of notes.
So do you think it's good? Good intensity?
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, good intensity.
So that goes from good to very good. Next.
And then good complexity with primary, secondary, and tertiary notes of like cigar box.
So we've gone from poor to acceptable to good to very good. So the quality level of this is very good.
Yeah.
Only due to a warming alcohol prevents it from being exceptional.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you add notices saying like the warming alcohol would probably help with aging or
No,
No.
because warming alcohol doesn't help with aging.
doesn't it?
The protection of the flavours in the wine
Yeah.
are good because of alcohol.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to be proved wrong. Higher alcohol wines have a tendency to, the alcohol gets more prevalent as it ages, which can be not a good thing. Okay, so imagine that with more burning sort of notes to it, overriding everything else.
Fruit rots out over time.
Yeah.
So you need lower alcohol so you can see more
Well,
of the
you
tertiary
need a
notes.
balanced wine to begin with. So if wine is balanced, over time, with the tertiary notes coming in and less primary notes, it's still balanced.
Yeah.
But with higher alcohol sitting on it, the tertiary notes are a lot more subtle in the primary flavours of berries and things like that.
Yeah.
So like leathers and saddlebags, or the leathers and jamminess and things like that comes in, is overridden by the alcohol, and they're more subtle than the primary notes.
Yeah.
So alcohol will be more prevalent, which makes it more outstanding, which makes it a little bit harder to drink.
Yeah.
That's a personal thing. That's not something I've been educated on, but it's something I've found over time. So higher alcohols are good for protectorate over a longer period, but it does mean it's going to be very dominant to it. So quality level for that?
Very good.
Very good.
Yeah.
So let's going to grab the bottles down, and we'll grab them and say
Do
which
you
one's
want to
which.
guess first?
Actually, we
I think that's the best quality.
Yep. So you reckon that's the best?
Followed by that one.
Yeah.
And that one's
Pat, what do you reckon? And literally, just read your notes. Don't guess. Read your notes, because you've actually written it. And this is the best part about it: is once it's written down, you've justified it.
Yeah.
So no matter if so let's just say that was the best one of the day.
Yeah.
If you've justified it in your notes, well, they go, well, okay, why?
So I've got very good, acceptable, and good.
So you reckon that, and that, which is what Dan said
Yeah.
exactly?
Right, yeah.
Grab the bottles of wine, Dan, and we'll pull them out.
And what was yours?
What do you think?
We could
I don't
be
know.
wrong.
Over the back
You
there.
did really like that middle
Behind
one.
that one, yep. I actually did like the middle one. I thought it
Yeah.
was really, really pleasant. Okay, so here are the wines we use today. Brocken Shack's Zipline. This is the 2018, which I have had previously, and I think this one was very austere today in comparison to what it normally is, because we literally cracked and poured. That's that one there. Yolumba's Galway Shiraz.
Galway or Galway?
Galway.
Well,
whatever
it's
you
actually,
call it.
I don't think it's from Galway.
No. There's that one there. And Sons of Eden. This is the Romulus Barossa Valley. This is Barossa Valley Floor. This is the last one. And to give you price points, 25, 16, 60.
So we know.
We nailed it well. And in fact, if you had written out your notes into literally, well, how'd it go? Well, actually, the last one we only took 15 minutes. If you had written out your notes into sentence form, you'd get 100%.
Sweet.
And I reckon that's really good. So, if you've got any opinions on disagreements, or if you think one wine was better or one wine particularly didn't show great character, feel free to put down in the comments below. But I think that turned out to be not a bad little quality too. And it showed well too. I mean, this is a good little wine, but it is fairly simple, especially in comparison to this wine, which we have drunk quite regularly.
Yeah.
And this one, which is one of, it's a bit more than acceptable, let's face it. It is.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the overriding alcohol, I would put that as exceptional.
Well, Sons of Eden makes one of my favourite wines. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
The Bumper is still one of my favourites, and I actually really like their Riesling.
The Freya, yeah. But, as I said, you've also given a reason why this didn't get exceptional, which was the overriding alcohol. Now,
But in a judging format, so you'd take away from it with the higher alcohol, or
yeah, so that's 14 and a half.
compared to the other one's probably like 13 and a half.
Well, this one is also 14 and a half.
Oh, really?
So
Why does the alcohol seem so more prevalent in...
Just the balance.
it could be the balance, just the balance of it. And this one is 14 and a half.
Jesus,
They're all the
they're all-
same.
yeah.
But the intensity of fruit, though they were simple,
Yeah.
balanced off the alcohol. The flavours and intensity of that one, whilst we had it originally, I think it did balance a bit better, and the alcohol was a bit more restrained. This one was quite warming.
But it wasn't unpleasant water.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't
like,
unpleasant, but it burnt my nose when I went to taste
To
it.
give a
See,
take.
I didn't get it. I didn't get the alcohol burn.
Oh,
on my
Dan
nose.
got it and I got it. I didn't
Yeah,
see.
straight away.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Now that being said, though, as they're all the same, why do you think this one showed more alcohol notes than that or that?
Just balance.
The balance of this one is probably the best example. It's simple fruit and big simple fruit.
Yeah.
This one, a bit more complexity, looking more at some oak notes and some darker fruits to it. The alcohol would have been is a little bit more prevalent, but this one here, you had tertiary notes in there, which are really subtle. You had secondary notes of there, which were subtle again, but they were obviously present. And the primary notes were not jammy and overly.
Yeah.
So therefore, it showed quite warm. That being said, though, like, you know, as this for me would be an exceptional one, except the alcohol was too prevalent. So in a judging situation, when we do a wine judging thing, out of those three, which one do you reckon would have got the highest points in wine judging?
Wine judging.
Yeah.
Probably got a rocket check.
Yeah.
No, I would have actually gone this one, but then the Brocken Shack definitely would not have been too far behind it. Only because of the complexity of that. Is
Yeah,
still
well, you
very
get
much
more.
more.
You actually get tertiary notes.
Yeah, but also the
longer finish.
Just
And what's the give or take range we've got again?
1.5.
1.5. So it's quite likely.
It's possibly that's 14.8, maybe 15,
And these could be slightly
and
lower.
they could be slightly well 14.2. I think it really is. That one could be 14.2 again. But again, so like you know, in a wine judging situation, this would have got it's nice. I would probably get about 86 points.
But it
This
depends
one would
on
have got
like.
90. That one would have got 94.
I reckon it would have depended on how they came out as well. Like.
Well, no, I actually set them up differently this time to try and
To
try not trick you, but to try to see how it works. I mean, if we started with this one, like
We probably would have tasted the other two.
you'd have tasted it,
Yeah.
and the other two would have gone, I get nothing. And it would have actually been.
But that's the thing. But on a judging thing where they just lay them out like 5 at a time, and you could have like the world's greatest Shiraz, and then you could have the
The other one.
the other
ones.
yeah.
Well, but the thing is, you need to evaluate the wines as they
Like
stand.
how Laughing Jack still didn't even get a point in the show.
Didn't get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That
like,
was
We
that-
rated it high.
we rated it the best one on the night.
Yeah. Like
And look, you know that can be the unfortunate nature of the beast when it comes to wine judging. It's whatever shows well on the day. And
shows well with a group of.
Oh,
wines
whichever
you drink
group.
with,
There's a myriad of different reasons things don't turn up. I was talking to Michael Hall, who I love.
Is that also an 18?
No, I think this might be a 16. 17. So that's with the
It's got
tertiary
about
note
a
comes
year
in.
on the
Yeah.
others too.
But I was talking to Michael Hall, and I asked him why one of his wines particularly didn't get a high level medal. And he said, I don't know, I didn't look myself. And so I had to find out what it was. And I love his wines.
Well, it's
But
good to see
because-
that some winemakers just don't care about that kind of stuff.
But on the day,
That'd be yours, I think, Pat. You
No.
were busy writing the whole
No.
time.
but on the day, his wine would have and it's a lovely, complex but subtle wine in comparison to a big ball-tearing Barossa and Shiraz would have looked like nothing. Whilst I don't denigrate anyone for that, because judging is a bitch of a job, you have to try and keep your palate fresh at all times. It's really hard to. But that being said, though, like this is a good way to get your experience up to try and figure out what's a good wine. I mean, if we look at the intensities, take that aside, in comparison just for those two wines, you're really looking at really intense fruit, but simple.
Yeah.
Complex, we've got some complexity to it, but not as intense. Which one do you reckon would have got better at the wine show?
Probably the middle one.
It depends how they came out.
Well, it could be how they came out, but it depends on the wine judges too. So if you're getting
Do
someone
they
who...
crack them and pour them, or do
Yeah, they crack course, yeah. So what could actually happen is if you've got 3 associate judges who drink a lot of wine and enjoy it, and one guy who's the wine judge, or their overall, their judge, he might go, it's simple, but all 3 of them go, but the flavour intensity is great, so it might push it up in points. where they look at this one, they go, oh, it's just nowhere near as intense. So intensity isn't the be all and end all. Balance, intensity, length, and complexity are the be all and end all.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I said, it's a good thing to do yourself, and it's a good thing to try and always adjudicate what you think is a good wine, and then give the reasons why. If you say this wine is better than this wine, if you can't tell the person why, then you're making it up as you go along.
And nothing's going to make you sadder than realizing your $10 quaffer isn't good enough anymore. Yeah, you suddenly got to bump it up to $25 a bottle.
Yeah,
To be satisfied.
To be satisfied.
And somehow we make money off that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you all for tuning in today, and we shall reevaluate these wines again now that they've opened up a little bit.
Maybe.
Oh well, I will. Actually, you're struggling today, eh?
I've finished on mine.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, you're struggling.
Oh, I'm struggling. Oh, I'm innocent. Anyway, so drink well, drink like a savvy. Cheers.
Lunge
Cheers.
Oh, actually, I just had to taste that second one again. It's not.
You've gone back.
Gone backwards.
No, it's like